Hey, remember about a year ago, I had an episode called How I Plan My Week ADHD Style. It remains one of the most popular episodes for the show. It still gets a lot of downloads every week. And this week, I wanted to bring it up to date with some advancements, some ways that I've digitalized those practices, and really get you up to speed on how I'm using that present day. And in addition to that, I wanted to share with you about the bonus resources that are part of my upcoming book, Becoming More Me, Tapping into Success, Subconscious Secrets of an ADHD Entrepreneurial Mom, which I can finally say I have the release date for. So when you are listening to this podcast, we will be only 4 days out from the digital launch of the book and a little bit over a week out from the paperback and Audible release. So the Kindle version, the digital version, which by the way, you do not need a Kindle to read, will be launching on the 6th of November. Mark your calendar. And also I highly suggest getting on my wait list to get a reminder, because on that launch day, it's going to be 99 cents just for that day. And then later that week, we're going to have the paperback come out and the Audible version on Saturday, November 11th, which you guys know me, I love my repeating numbers. 11/11 just seemed like the perfectly aligned and right on time date to release this. Very excited that I finally have those dates to share with you. It's feeling so crazy and scary and real and exciting and amazing. And I look forward to hearing your feedback on the book and everything else. So today, take a moment to hear all of the amazing things that you're going to get with whatever version of this book you decide to get. Or as I know many of my ADHD listeners have already expressed, they can't wait to get either the Kindle or the paperback plus the Audible version to really allow things to sink in such a deeper and greater way by listening and reading at the same time. So I really hope you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy this episode and all of the updates it includes as well. Hey there! Welcome to another episode of Becoming More Me. Whew, as I record this one, the excitement is in the air around the launch of my new book, Becoming More Me, Tapping into Success, Subconscious Secrets of an ADHD Entrepreneurial Mom. And also, at the time I'm recording this, I still don't have a launch date. So I'm hoping that when this airs, we will literally be within days of the launch. So definitely take a look as soon as I have the information on the book and the link where you can order it. I will be putting that in the show notes. And in the meantime, just know that it's a bit of a roller coaster and it takes a lot of people to make this happen. And right now, we just have a few little missing elements, and that's okay because that gives me time to get even more amazing stuff ready for all of you. So this week, I have a lot of ground that I want to cover. I want to expand upon some things that I coached you all in on an episode last year. It was episode 81, How I Plan My Week and Achieve My Goals ADHD Style. If you haven't listened to it yet, I highly recommend it. And you might have come into this podcast episode weeks after it came out because you're reading my book. This episode is actually going to support a lot of the information in my book, but it also stands alone. So there's a whole lot of reasons why you might be listening to this right now, but just know there's a lot of great information in here for you to lean into and help your own ADHD brain and also enhance your journey of becoming. So, in these final weeks, as I get ready for the book launch, I'm actually having my assistants assist me in creating an entire site dedicated to bonus resources for the book. So, if you were thinking that this is just a book and that's it, it is not. It is very interactive, and there are a lot of bonus resources for you so that you can actively experience the things that are being talked about in the book and start implementing a lot of the modalities and suggestions and tips given in the book as well. So I'm really excited about that and happy to have the time to put beautiful finishing touches on all of that. Now, I knew that I was writing this for the right group of people and that this was landing on the right ears when in the early days when I started mentioning that I would be publishing a book, that it would be coming out this fall, etc. People started asking about the versions and how it would be available. So, first, I would be asked often, is there going to be an audiobook? To which I had to say, yes, of course there is. As you know, I did an episode just a couple of weeks ago behind the scenes in the recording studio. It was very important to me to make sure that there was an audible version. And then I started getting a lot of questions about pairing up the audible version with the Kindle or the paperback, and are they made to go together, and so on and so forth. And I was just like, yes, this is my tribe, people who already understand the enhanced benefits of reading and listening simultaneously, people whose ability to focus is improved when they do that, or people who know, gosh, I really just want the audiobook. I am never going to crack the spine on a regular book or open up a digital version on a Kindle. So all of those versions are available, and I'm really excited about that. Now, I will say this because I've been asked about it and because I think it's also kind of cool. The versions, the Kindle and the paperback will be identical. However, the Audible version is going to have a little bit of extra bonus content in it. And it will also take you through the tapping rounds in a call and answer kind of way that leaves you time to actually do it while you're listening and answer back and participate. And of course, there are certain things about the Audible version that are just different because it's an audiobook versus a regular book. But for the most part, I would say they are like 97% similar. And if you wanted to read one while listening to the other, you would totally have a great experience doing that. They don't sync up exactly word for word, but you'll be able to find your place. You'll be able to know when I'm just rephrasing something because it's the audiobook, and you'll be able to follow along beautifully. So I'm really excited about that. And just, at this point, I'm just waiting for my final cover art, which I am super excited to see for the first time. And of course, like getting chills about sharing for the first time once it's all finalized. And just moving on from there, a couple little last minute formatting things that need to be done, and we're ready. I'm still working through the Audible book edits and things with the team at the recording studio, but I know that that will be ready right around the same time as everything else. So it just feels like everything is, as I like to say, perfectly aligned and right on time. And I'm so grateful, so grateful. In the meantime, I'm running the 8-week free coaching program to celebrate the launch, and that's happening in my free community, which you can join using the link in the show notes if you're not already a member. And that coaching program is also a support once you have the book. So just because it's running live right now and happening, and I'm dishing it out week by week now, once it's in my community, you will be able to, purchase the book and also do that coaching program along with reading the book. So you could do the coaching program before you read the book, you could do it after you read the book, or you could do it while you're reading the book, because each week during the coaching program, I tell you what chapters we're diving into and what we're expanding upon. And it also provide questions and exercises and things so that you can deep dive further into the material. So I highly recommend that. If you're reading the book, before you're reading the book, after reading the book, I just highly recommend it because it's going to deepen your understanding of all of the concepts and give you a place to have a sounding board, to ask questions, and to get further information on the different things that are discussed in the book. So I'd love to tell you a little bit about the bonus resources that are going to be included when you purchase the book, which I'm really excited about because I know whenever I get a book, and you know me, my books are all audible, I get really excited when I hear the author or the narrator telling me that I can go to a certain website and get more or download something or try something out myself. And that's exactly the kind of experience I wanted to create as people read becoming more me also. So just know that in addition to that 8-week coaching program, there are things included with, I would say it's more than 50% of the chapters in the book have different things to expand upon what's offered inside of them. So any of the tapping rounds that are in the book have a video version of that tapping round. And I did that because I personally think it is way easier to tap along and watch someone than it is to read and figure out, what point am I going to next? What am I doing? Am I doing it right? If you're doing it along with me in a video, that you can just follow the leader, do what I'm doing, get a great result. And also, it gave me a lot of room to give you extra suggestions and other little things that you can do to build upon the tapping round. So, even if you are adept at tapping and you're cool with reading scripts and seeing the abbreviations for the tapping points and you know what you're doing, I highly suggest watching the video for the same reason that I point you guys to my private sessions resource all the time. There are expert tips and guidance in with each of those tapping rounds that you can use to personalize further and get more out of it. So, for all of the tapping rounds that are included in the book, there is a video version that goes deeper and gives you extra, allows you to get more mileage out of every little bit of it. And then in addition to that, there's also hypnosis audio for you to try. And I can't remember if I talked about this on a previous episode, but this is going to be general because it's being created for anyone who's reading the book, whereas people who work with me one-to-one in hypnotherapy sessions, we have very specific hypnosis audios that get created, and we're also doing work that is very specific to the challenge or issue that we're trying to resolve. But still, this is a great way to feed some positivity and some positive change and transformation directly into your subconscious, and also get a lot of different tips and tricks for how to use that best to your advantage. So there's EFT video rounds, there's hypnosis audios, there's even diagrams and things for those of you that aren't familiar with EFT tapping to show you where exactly the tapping points are, things that you can quick reference if you are reading the book and trying to do the tapping rounds. And I think that's really cool also. Something that I'm having fun sharing as a bonus book resource is a lot of my own favorite things that I use often as they are found on YouTube. So giving you a whole list of some of my favorite tracks that I personally use that I feel benefit me, not created by me, but created by all different people in the world of hypnotherapy and yoga nidra and EFT tapping and so much else, so that you can really, try some new things out and see what's going to support and help you the most. And kind of a playlist essentially of things that are fun to try. And I talk in the book a lot about the power of visualization and asking questions of our subconscious mind and getting it on board with those questions, looking for answers. So I have a process that I call visualizations and affirmations. And in the bonus resources are ones that you can personalize for yourself and a sampling of the way that I create mine as I describe in the book. So that's a really cool thing because you can start using that immediately. I give you a full rundown of how to use it, how to personalize it, and how to make a recording or make use of the resource so that you can get the most out of it. Really cool. Now, as the book gets into procrastination and self sabotage and nervous system regulation and our need to really be able to slow down in order to really do everything that we want in our lives and have it feel the way that we want it to feel while we're doing it and produce the outcomes that we want it to produce while we're doing it, we start talking a lot about time management and planning, especially through the lens of if you have issues with focus, distraction, ADHD, or similar. And don't we all these days in this crazy busy world that we live in? not necessarily we all have ADHD, but I think everybody has distraction or something that is really dividing their focus and making it difficult to dial in on what really moves the needle and makes us feel good and creates the life that we want to be living a lot of the time because of all of the distraction. So, as we get deeper into the book and really want to start harnessing our time so that we can make the most of it, I share in the bonus resource my planning sheets that I use. And the idea of these was first introduced on that episode 81 that I mentioned earlier in this podcast. And I've updated these sheets for the book. And I've also learned since I recorded that episode. If you've listened to the episode before, great. If not, when I first created my planning sheets that I use to basically lay out the plan for every week during the year, whether it's a work week, a vacation week, who knows? I use them all the time because every day has things that need to get done no matter what, for the most part. Then I was printing them out and writing on them. And I have a combination of digital planning and written planning that I do. And that process is outlined in that podcast episode. It is also gone into in deeper detail in my book. When I released that podcast episode, I had just recently been given my Remarkable tab from my husband for the holidays as a gift. And I was just in the beginning stages of getting to use it. In fact, on the episode, I remember saying, I'm not in love yet, but I'll let you know how it goes and I'll get back to you. So today, I wanted to take a few minutes to update you on how I'm using that with my planner sheets and also allow this to supplement the information in my book so that those of you who have read the book understand how you can use these planning sheets electronically and save time, save trees and paper, and customize it a lot better for your day-to-day life. I am now very much in love with using this with my Remarkable. And pretty much since I would say sometime in January of this year, I switched over. So there was a couple of weeks where I was like trying to figure it out on the Remarkable and still printing out the paper versions. And that, of course, got way too tedious, way too quickly. And I was like, Teresa, you just need to, just like I talk about in the book, you just need to take a minute being about an hour, and you need to figure out how this works, slow down a little bit, and then you'll understand whether you like this on the Remarkable or whether you want to keep using your paper. But you can't live in limbo land. You need to make a choice here. And this is going to be either way, it's going to be a time saving choice because you're going to commit to one way or the other, but you need to do that. So that was kind of where I was in January. And by February, I was just loving using the tab, and I'm going to share with you kind of how I use it now on the tab. Also realizing that you guys might have amazing ideas on how to do this even better. And I'd love, love, love to hear about them. All right. So, if you've listened to the other podcast, that I used to print out 1 week at a time of my daily planner pages. So, Monday through Sunday, I would print those out typically the Tuesday before. And then on Wednesday, I would have a planning meeting with myself to plan out the week ahead and then lather, rinse, repeat the next week. So, when I went into the Remarkable, I wanted to be able to do that and have enough pages so that I didn't feel like I was on top of myself. So what I did is I created in Canva, and you can do this with the planner sheets because when you get my planner sheets template from the book, you can, make a copy and you can alter it however you want to. So what I did is I created 2 weeks worth. So a full Monday through Sunday, and then same thing over again. So that essentially it's 14 pages long, this file. And then I download that from Canva and just upload it into my Remarkable. And it shows up as a PDF that I can write on with my pen for my Remarkable. Now, another thing that I did, which I liked for using it digitally, was I uploaded it without the things that I put on it when I talked about it in the first podcast. So in the first podcast, I talked about how I put in like the times I need to wake my kids, when their buses come, when they get home in the afternoon, recurring events that happen nearly every day. I pretty much put the calendar in my Remarkable bare bones. And then what I did, because I still want those things, I created layers. So in my Remarkable, like here's a Friday. I just put it in with no events in on the actual schedule. And then I created, and this is a little bit of an older one. You can actually do this and have it be typed now, which is really cool. What I'm going to show you is just written. They have layers on here. So I can add in the layer that I call school, and then all of a sudden, it adds in the times when my kids get up, the times when my kids come home. I also have layers, so I can, there's like a little eyeball, so you can turn a layer on or you can turn a layer off. So if it's an early dismissal day, like we're having today when I'm recording, I can turn the eyeball off on the regular school schedule and I can turn the eyeball on the early dismissal school schedule that I have as well, making it really easy. And what I didn't necessarily create all of the layers at once. I just created them as I needed them. But the nice thing with layers is that once I have this layer turned on, if I just go back to my main layer, then I can write on layer one, I can erase on layer one, but I won't erase their schedule. It stays there untouched. So I have a few of these different layers that I can turn off and on depending on things that regularly happen that I don't want to have to write in or remember the times for or things like that. And now that, at least on the Remarkable, you can convert writing to text, I can actually have it printed just like I had it in the original version of Canva also. So I really, really, really like that. And that also means that another thing I really like about doing it on the Remarkable is that if I have a list of things that I've created that I need to do, as I tend to, I mean, it's quite easy for me to fill up those, the columns that are over here with all of my to-do list things. Um, I can move them to the next day really easily if they don't get done or if they just need to go somewhere else. I mean, I might write something down today that I know I'm not going to do today, but I'm writing it today because I just remember to write it down. And then they have a really cool feature where you can just, kind of circle things on there, cut, copy, paste, whatever. And I can just, swipe through to the page that I want on the Remarkable and paste it right where I want. So if it's Tuesday and I didn't get something done and I'm just going to bump it to Wednesday, I don't have to go through the trouble of rewriting it on the new page or whatever else. With the printed versions, I used to do that with a sticky note. Like I put a sticky note on the printed version for anything that I thought might not get done that day. And then I could just move the sticky note to the next page, which if you're still using the printed versions, I did like that. A sticky note on my printed version fit pretty nicely in this main compartment here. Or I could just put it up here, but it would overlap. And or you can change the compartments and change the sizing on these planner sheets, which is what I love about them. I mean, I have configured this to what I typically need in a day, but as I speak about on episode 81, it's all about making it right for you and your day and customizing it down to, the time that it starts in the morning and the time that it ends in the evening. Because that was one of my peeves with most planners is that they didn't start until hours after I was already up and doing things. And they ended at weird times too. So my planner begins at 4:30 in the morning and goes until 10 o'clock at night. I rarely have much on the last, few hours of that day, but every now and then there's something that needs to be accounted for. And I like to have the space to do it, or even just to be able to schedule that that's when I'm relaxing or watching a show with my hubby or going to bed early or hanging out with my kids or doing something else. I think it's just as important to schedule and plan for our pleasurable time, our downtime, our family time, as it is to schedule a meeting or a client appointment or something else. We have to be intentional about the way that we want to spend our time. And again, I go into a lot of that in the book, but really just wanted to give you the update that I love having both my planner sheets in here as well as my dare sheets, which are the dream achievement reverse engineering sheets that I talked about on episode 81 and that I also talk about in the book. So I do those as a separate file, and then I can find them really easily. I have a whole folder called planning on my Remarkable tab. So one of them is the planner pages in the folder, and then one of them is the my dare goals or my dare projects. And I also love having calendars in there. So I'll print out, not print out, but I'll have, PDF versions of the year's calendars that I can use to, record things on. Like I like having a podcast calendar that's written because my podcast guesting and my guests on my podcast can I like to be able to see, like, I like to be able to just look at a calendar and just see those for the month. Maybe that's weird, but it's really easy to do in here. So it's easy for me to visualize, okay, cool. I'll be on 12 shows this month. I'm having 6 people on my show. And, this is when it's happening. Helps me also understand things like, okay, so those are days that I might want to like get out of my workout clothes, do my hair, and put on some real clothes and things like that. It helps with all of the planning. So whatever you need to do to make it easier to plan your day, I have found that it's really easy to put that stuff into my Remarkable. And it's the same thing with the weekly planner sheets that I also talk about in the book and in episode 81, which are more of like your lists and things that you can pull things from when you have the time, or you can prioritize as you do your weekly plan. I have those in a separate file in the planning folder on my Remarkable also. So I love it. I love that it's easy. I can just erase there. I can rewrite, I can reuse them. And every so often I see the need to just update the sheets themselves, in which case I just delete the old version from my Remarkable, download and add in the new version and go from there. But it has been super easy and I love it because then this is all I need to remember is just this like little itty bitty thin electronic notebook that has everything that has to do with my planning and so much more. I mean, I use my tablet for planning. I use it for client notes because I don't like typing client notes necessarily. I try to every now and then, but I feel much better and much more connected. And like I process information that I'm getting from my clients when we're in session together when I'm writing. So I have like a separate notebook within my notebook for every one of my clients that is just their notes. And I love that because it's so easy to be able to be like, oh, what did we talk about last time or whatever else? And yeah, I love that. So all the things that I used to use paper notebooks for and would have like 8 different notebooks on my desk and usually not be able to find the one I wanted or the place in it that I wanted or whatever else, it's really easy for me with the electronic notebook. So I'm the better part of a year into using this. I really like it. I feel like it definitely helps ADHD wise. Every now and then, I do need to have a piece of paper next to it if I'm trying to like really figure out something complex and I don't want to have to keep going back and forth between documents on the one tab. Sometimes I do still need some actual paper to write on and be able to kind of get thoughts out of my head as they're coming. But for the most part, I can keep everything in there. I love that it backs up to the cloud. I don't have to worry about losing it. I can't tell you how many times in the past I would have like an agenda or even my printed planner pages and I would spill something on them or I would accidentally throw them away because I thought they were the old ones and not the current week ones or who knows, there's so many things that have happened to them over the years and or I would misplace them. Not that you couldn't misplace a tablet, but I haven't, knock on wood. And yeah, so I just find it really convenient. Everything is in one place and yeah, it works really well for the planner sheets. So if you're using the planner sheets and you could do that probably on an iPad or whatever too. I just happen to like the Remarkable Pad. That's what I have, and I like that it feels like paper. It writes like paper or like whatever I set my pen to write as, and I can also convert the text to type so that I can create a look on my planner pages that looks as if I still created it in Canva, but it gives me the layers option on Remarkable so that I can easily change days around when my kids have school, they don't have school, when it's a normal work day for me, when it's a vacation day for us, holidays, all that kind of stuff. Easy to just make little itty bitty changes that only take me a second. And that over the course of the year saves hours and hours and hours of time. So I'm all for that. So yeah, that's really what I wanted to share with you today was how I have made that electronic tablet friendly and that I really do like that because I still get the feeling of writing, which I do think is important for remembering and processing what I have going on in a week, it's important to me, what I want to get done, all of that. And also to share all of the amazing things that you're going to get along with the Becoming More Me book when you get it, whether you choose to get the Kindle version or the paperback or the Audible version or some combination of the three. I hope that you love it. This has really been such an amazing process and journey for me. There have been so many ways that I have enjoyed and also needed to lean into the processes that I talk about, the processes that I coach people with, and everything else. And so many opportunities to just be transparent about my own humanness and everything else throughout this. And I'm so grateful for that. I mean, I literally could not have written this book and gotten it to the place where it is right now, which is just a hair before publishing at the time of recording, without nervous system regulation, without subconscious mind work, without good strategies for improving relationships so that my marriage and my parenting could actually feel like they were improving because they were during a time when I was doing so much and working on so much. And for me, it's validating about this work, and it makes me feel really good that when I have these times that are difficult, and it's been a challenging year trying to bring all of this to fruition and maintain the lens of pleasure and grow a business and get a kiddo off to college and support 4 kids and keep a marriage evolving and thriving and do all the simple crap too, like dishes and laundry and everything else. And thank goodness I have amazing support. My husband is just awesome and so very supportive and so very helpful. I really 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 could not do all of this without him, and I appreciate him so much. And yeah, just there were so many opportunities for me to just reflect and be like, yeah, this is where I have to do the exact work I help others do. Or, man, like I know this lesson is going to help someone else later. Or, hey, I see the sparks of the next book or the next thing I need to share or whatever else, writing Becoming More Me, Tapping into Success, Subconscious Secrets of an ADHD Entrepreneurial Mom was my work in process. It was reflection on my work. It was all just part of this never-ending journey that I want so badly to help all of you get present for, because me getting present for it has been the biggest gift I've ever been able to give myself, my family, my marriage, and there's a ripple effect that can go on forever with all of this. So I can't wait for you to read this book. It feels kind of like getting ready to just rip off a Band-Aid for me. And I'm excited to expose it. I'm excited to get it out there. I'm excited to receive the conversation, the feedback, the questions, the opportunities, just everything, and just allow it to flow from me, flow to me, just have this reciprocal exchange of all the amazing awareness and consciousness and expansion that can come as we all share in this. So just feeling the gratitude, feeling the love, excited for you to experience the book, excited for you to get your hands on all of these bonus resources that come along with it, and excited to hear how you expand upon using the planner sheets if you're a planner nerd like me and you're trying them out. If you enjoy digital, if you enjoy printing them, if you have some better hacks than I do for how to make either of those experiences even better and to, make the most of it. I'm excited. Don't forget, you can learn more about the planner sheets on episode 81. I'll make sure all of that is linked in the show notes. And thank you so much for listening today. Have a great week. Thanks for spending some of your precious time with me today. If you loved this episode, please leave a review or simply share it with someone else who would get great benefit from it too. If you share on social media, please tag me so I can personally connect and thank you. Until next time, keep taking bold and brave steps towards becoming more of who you want to be in this world. You are capable, you are worthy, and you are enough. And if your inner critic is still trying to argue with those facts, hit me up. We've got work to do.